There is only one power and one presence in this church and in our lives and in the universe, and that is God the good, omnipotent. Will you please repeat after me the 5 unity principles? First principle, God is absolute good everywhere present. God is absolute good everywhere present. Second, God lives in us. God lives in us. Therefore, we are inherently good. Therefore, we are inherently good. Third principle, we are co-creators with God. We are co-creators with God. We create our experiences through our thoughts. We create our experiences through our thoughts. Fourth, prayer is creative thinking. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens our connection with God-mind. That heightens our connection with God-mind, and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. Healing, prosperity, and everything good. And the fifth principle, it's not enough to simply know these principles. It's not enough to simply know these principles. We must live the truth to know. We must live the truth to know. Will you please stand for our first hymn, 236. Take my life and let it be. 236. Recently wrote, Memorial Day for so many is the third day weekend that heralds the beginning of summer. But the true heart of this day is for remembrance. months, remembrance of those who gave their lives for this country. Memorial Day originated within the Black community, following the Civil War, to honor and remember the Black soldiers who were not being honored or acknowledged by everyone else at the time. This Sunday, may we honor the Black roots of this holiday and honor all those who served and died, as well as those who have passed on, our loved ones in our lives. So may we today enter this time of prayer and meditation with a prayer. Will you close your eyes? Dear God, we are so grateful this Memorial Day for those brave soldiers who have given their lives for and fought for this country so that we may be here today, free and able to be together in our spiritual home. We are also ever so grateful to have had the opportunity to have known and spent precious time with our loved ones who have taken their light and moved on. We are so thankful that you blessed us with their presence for the time that we had them. We are grateful for their memories, for their part in our lives, and the love that we shared with them. Please bless those loved ones wherever they may be. And now, rest in the silence of prayer and pray for all of those who have lost loved ones and for those whom we have lost. Take a deep breath and feel your oneness with God and with all beings as you realize your inner divinity and your connection with Spirit and all aspects and manifestations of this Spirit in the universe, where there is only one power and one presence everywhere. Let whatever blocks you, whatever conditioning or habits that you have that separate you sometimes from this God presence, let those blocks go. Know that this is who you really are. Divine, capable, wise, perfect, and ever able to manifest heaven in your life, the abundance of peace, love, joy, and fulfillment. Allow yourself now to rise in consciousness where you can clearly see all the possibilities around you, where you attract your good to you in all its myriad forms. Imagine now that you are opening your eyes and you can see with Christ's vision. You see beauty, possibilities, divine order, and what others call miracles everywhere. You realize they have always been there, but you can now see them clearly with your Christ vision. You attract them to you, and you are aware of that. Rest in the silence of prayer. imagine that you are in your car. Gently turn to the driver's seat. You see your ego. Gently say to your ego, it's time for a change in my life. So I am turning the direction of my life over to my higher power. I'm going to let go and let God drive me, direct me. I appreciate your service and I've learned a lot, but I no longer can allow negativity, doubts, fears, anger, and separating ways into my life. As of this moment, I command you to let go. I'm going to let go and let God. I have outgrown the direction of any other power. I am now ready for a super vehicle and a miraculous life, which you, ego, are not capable of. Over and out. Rest in the silence of prayer as you turn your life completely over to the direction and guidance of God. Imagine that you are in a supercar with a super driver. God, imagine all the places you can go, the things you can do now, and the people you can include in your life and attract now, since your ego, your separating ego, is no longer filling you with judgments, non-forgiveness, and doubts. Your life includes everyone and everything, and you see them as their divine Christ selves. You see infinite possibilities. You can imagine all those possibilities manifesting in your life. You allow God to manifest through you. You have purified your mind, body, and soul by joining with Spirit, and you are so grateful for this opportunity. Rest once more in total oneness with God and all beings and all those whom you have loved and appreciated, who have gone from this incarnation to continue their journey in other ways. Rest in the silence at one with them. That you are loved and embraced by God and the divinity of all those who are able to see clearly. The Lord watches over you and protects you and your loved ones. Wherever you may be, whatever path may be yours to total wisdom and enlightenment and realization of your oneness with God.
Would you
Please stand and sing hymn 111, Living Abundantly, 111. So, you see that computer back there and that camera? Well, we are being filmed. We're being live streamed at this moment on YouTube. Do you see anybody operating it? Stephen is operating it from Houston, Reverend Stephen. Okay, that is a miracle, right? So, yeah, he wanted to know if I could do this, when I'm talking today. I said, absolutely not. That would really not happen. And he said, well, I guess I'll just do it from Houston then. Anyway, the point being that what some people like me consider to be a miracle is really just having a grasp of the higher laws of things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Jesus healed, he raised from the dead, he did all kinds of miracles. They look like miracles to us, but the fact is, if we are on this higher level and we understand these higher laws, like the technology of that thing that scares me to death, we can produce miracles. So keep that in mind. I've recently been having a lot of fun delving into the newly found teachings in Spiritual Laws of Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore, as edited by Dr. Reverend Tony Bain at Unity Village in her book. You remember that Reverend Bain came here a few months ago and talked with us and had class on Saturday and so forth. And I also recently completed her 6-week workshop about this book and similar ideas, and it inspired me to share with you today some of our teachings about Charles Fillmore's manuscripts, which he left in the Unity Archives, I've told you a couple of times, in 1947 with a note on it saying, "Please release when the world is ready." Well, Tony felt like the world was ready, as I do. I was particularly struck with how these ideas tap into grasping and understanding the wisdom of our full potential, realizing our full potential success in this world. And after being around Dr. Bain for a week at Unity Village last year in June, and being with her for the 3 days she was here in New Orleans, being with us, I'm a believer. She is a dynamo and a prolific writer. She's written, I think, 13 books or something. Everywhere she went, things just popped. I could see the miracles happening. She always was in just the right place. She attracted just the right person, just the right circumstance. Consistently, all day, every day. Miraculous, some might say. But Tony was just living these laws, and it just happened. To me, these ideas of Fillmore's and that Tony has shared with us manifest what many people term miracles, but what Jesus thought was normal. Jesus said, "These things that I do, ye shall do also." He intended for us to live this way. And remember, Jesus healed the sick in mind and body and raised the dead. Perhaps or perhaps not in the literal sense, but certainly by helping the sick and the spiritually dead heal themselves by realizing that they were whole. They had all these powers within them. They were already well. That's what he did, is help them see they weren't sick. And that's what these laws help us see too, that we have everything that it takes already to manifest heaven on earth and success in our lives. And that's our topic for today, manifesting success. Divine order, success, prosperity are everywhere present because God the good is everywhere present. We just need to open our eyes to it, which brings us to our affirmation for today. Stephen asked me a couple of days ago, "What's your affirmation for Sunday?" And I don't know. But I found the perfect affirmation, so help me out. My eyes can see the beautiful potential within and all around me. Isn't that wonderful? Unity affirmation. So repeat after me. My eyes can see the beautiful potential within. My eyes can see the beautiful potential within and all around me. My eyes can see the beautiful potential within and all around me. My eyes can see the beautiful potential within and all around me. As most of you know, all the Unity teachings and the tools and the truths have been wrapped up into 5 Unity principles, which we said earlier, which we can take to whatever depths we are ready for at any particular time. And today I thought it would be interesting to see how they can help us open our eyes so that we can see the beautiful potential for success in our lives, within and all around us. Fillmore taught that we all have these innate powers, these 12 powers he talked about, and the ability to create success of all kinds in our lives, to heal ourselves, to master situations, produce these so-called miracles, like raising our consciousness, maybe to be able to work gadgets like that, and to raise our consciousness from negative, sick, or dead places, like Jesus raised Lazarus, so that we can raise ourselves from being spiritually dead, so to speak. At Unity, most of us know the teachings intellectually, but we don't always remember to use them. That's the 5th Unity principle. to use them in our daily lives with everything that happens. In fact, the fifth unity principle that states it's not enough to just know these truths, it says we must use them, and we really need to remember to do that. My ego goes on automatic. I don't know about you, but I have to really catch myself when I'm reacting to situations. I'm just on automatic most of the time. It's my ego. Otherwise, we're just like an engineer that has studied for years in college and knows all about constructing roads and skyscrapers and bridges, but doesn't really use what she knows, and nothing happens, nothing gets built, right? We have to use these principles. So, I started thinking about the 5 unity principles and the Fillmore teachings that were recently released to Dr. Bain at Unity Village in her Unity book, The Story of Jesus' Soul Evolution. It's not a page turner. It's difficult. Slow reading. It's not difficult. It's slow reading, but whoa, it will blow your mind. And it occurred to me that there are also 5 laws of success. And by success, I don't necessarily mean winning the lottery or catching the ideal mate or becoming president. Though people who do live by these laws often find themselves in very successful life situations. Ultimately, success is creating for ourselves the ideal life. Peaceful, happy, abundant, fulfilling, no matter what seems to be going on externally. That kind of success cannot be taken away from us. That's what's so amazing about it. These kinds of successful people are constantly making lemonade out of lemons. For clarity today, I've likened our endeavor towards success with the imagery of a garden. Voltaire's famous, one of my students back there in my Voltaire class, Voltaire's famous quote is, "We have to cultivate our garden." Right? We have to cultivate our garden. Our garden is, of course, our life. We must truly cultivate our lives as we would a garden. Briefly, the first law of success is to open our eyes and see the opportunities out there for success, and to know that all that we need is out there, always at our disposal. Just open up to it. 2, the second law of success is realizing that we personally have everything we need to create our beautiful garden, our success. We have it right now. It's in us. 3, we need to empty out our old limited thinking and access a new way of viewing our garden project. For example, we can start seeing every setback not as defeat, but as a lesson that brings us closer to knowing how to succeed. I learned that especially from Susan tomorrow. 4th, to do this, we have to stop and take time to be with or embrace our garden vision, to be one with it. Let it take shape in our minds. Visualize it. And 5th, we have to use the garden tools, plant the seeds, pull the weeds, cultivate the garden, and have patience. Seeds don't sprout the day they're planted. These 5 laws create success in any endeavor on the earthly plane in terms of realizing our material goals, of course, like having a beautiful garden or a successful business, and on the so-called spiritual plane. I say so-called spiritual plane because in reality, there isn't any other plane. So let's zoom in a bit on these 5 laws of success. The first unity principle states that there is only one power and one presence in the universe, God. That's all there is, the God principle. Our ego, our programming may tell us otherwise at times. We succumb to herd mentality. But prosperity and fulfillment are omnipresent because God is omnipresent, just waiting for us to see this divine order and to use the eternal laws. That's why the first law of success is just opening our minds to the all-pervading good God that is everywhere present. God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. Just as the first principle says that there is only one presence and one power in the universe. For example, if we abide by the first law of success, we quit seeing those setbacks as failures, but rather just another step forward, another thing that didn't work on the way to success. We start changing paradigms. We start putting ourselves in what Reverend Bain and many others like Dr. Joe Dispenza call a different level of vibration, or a higher dimension, some people call it, which attracts our good. Dare to dream. Be one with your dreams. Picture what you want and ask for guidance. The point is to start opening our minds to success and really being one with it. It's recognizing the divine order in life. If we have Christ's vision, we see that divine order everywhere. Maybe success for you isn't going to be winning the lottery, but gaining a lasting ability to build a new life, a new job, new friendships, and all kinds of fulfillment on every level. That is success. 2, the second unity principle states that we all have the divine within us. Well, since there is nothing but God the good, it certainly makes sense that we are divine too. Jesus said, "Ye are gods." Ye are gods. What we need to do is work on letting go of those judgmental beliefs about ourselves and others that say we aren't divine. At times we all need forgiving for not knowing what we do, but that doesn't negate our natural divinity. To create success, we need to forgive ourselves. Anything that needs forgiving in ourselves is our ego that did it or thought it. We need to forgive ourselves and others by recognizing our true divinity. That's all you are. You are divine. And when we quit punishing ourselves, it's easier to accept the success that we all deserve. The second law of success is to realize that we and everyone else is divine. Absolutely. At various stages of realizing it and living it. In terms of letting so-called difficult people get in our way when it comes to success, we might consider that many spiritual teachers have said that difficult people are our teachers, and that we should be grateful for them because they help us learn to overcome our judgments and so forth. Many of you know the Sufi Gurdjieff used to go out and find difficult people in the village and bring them back to the ashram so that everybody would have an opportunity to work on their negativity. It helped them grow so much. Maybe we should be grateful for all this free help that we have out there in the world. I know I've had millions of dollars of free help in that regard in my lifetime. And I wish I had the good sense to realize with the first person who I let destroy my success or my feelings of self-confidence in going out and getting that success, I wish I had realized then, hey, they're my teachers. I didn't even have to pay any money for them. If I had truly accepted my divinity and that of others, I would have saved myself an enormous amount of suffering in my life and achieved a whole lot more success when I was certainly younger. And as a Course of Miracles says to us, when we judge others, the problem is those others that we think are impeding our success in one way or another, when we judge them, our unconscious then starts judging ourselves. It chips away at our self-confidence. the self-confidence that we need for success. Because if we judge others, our unconscious says, well, they're human, you're human, so you must have the same problem they do, and then, can't do this or that. Okay? So, the second law of success is to realize that we are all divine. And if someone isn't expressing their identity or divinity at a certain time, we really shouldn't let it, we need to practice not letting it affect us. Maybe they're putting us down, telling us we can't do something. That's just their opinion. The third unity principle, that we create our world with our thinking, is also very relevant in the third law of success. Knowing that our thoughts create our world, for example, help us understand that all those difficult people and situations out there are really just triggers for us to see ourselves. We needn't let their negativity affect us at all. That's their idea. That's their reality. We needn't let them affect our success. People are living and learning their stuff just like we're living and learning ours all the time. And it's all good. We can let them influence us or not. They needn't discourage us, and we needn't judge them. We're all just doing our thing wherever we are at the time. We're all seeing reality through our own filters, and those filters change all the time. Just like on a camera, you change the filters depending on the situation. Our filters change constantly. The person that didn't like us or think we could succeed in the morning isn't necessarily that same person at night. And when we see the world with Christ's vision, we can see the divine order and all those possibilities out there, no matter what is happening or who's saying what. The negativity of others needn't block us in our success. They are just doing their thing, and we can use them to help us grow and overcome our judgments and our dependence on things being a certain way. Think about that, how often we don't go for success because we think it looks a certain way, and everything has to be a certain way, and everybody has to be agreeing. It doesn't. It's going to take a different form, perhaps. Everyone out there is just at a different level of development, a different stage of development and growth, and not judging them or letting them discourage us is definitely part of our path. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. If we really want to grow spiritually, we will see all those who trigger our negativity not as defeat, but as opportunities to see those triggers and heal ourselves. And then never, if we heal ourselves, never have to deal with that way of viewing the world again. If we really get it, it's done. We'll never have to deal with those kinds of people again. People might be that way, but we'll just bless them. Okay, that's the way you feel today. So the third tool of success is accessing a whole new way of seeing the world, getting new tools that work right for our garden. We can't dig out old dead plants that are taking up space with a shovel that has a broken handle. Right, Adam? Judging and condemning others, and thus ourselves, holds us down and holds us back. We need to start seeing in a whole new way. We need to understand the third unity principle and know that we truly create our world, our whole world out there, and everyone in it with our thinking. Fillmore referred to this idea of transforming our thinking when he quoted in this book, when he quoted Jesus saying in Luke 5:37 that we shouldn't put new wine in old wineskins. We shouldn't put new wine. We can't put new wine in old wineskins. Fillmore explained that old wineskins dry up and corrode. I don't know about you, I didn't understand that at all, but that's the fact. If you put new wine in them, these old wineskins will just, they're dry, they're going to burst, and everything's going to just spill out. Fillmore likens our old thoughts to these old wineskins. When we continue to carry around these old ways of seeing the world, of thinking, like doubt, revenge, unforgiveness, judgment, the laws of success and prosperity can't get into our consciousness. They just spill out. We must change our thinking if we are to change our world. Fillmore says in this newly found manuscript, I quote, "In order to unfold spiritually, it is necessary to continually infuse into soul and body consciousness the newness and beauty and strength of the Christ nature, the new wine. But we must first cleanse and renew ourselves so that we are able to receive and hold the resurrecting Christ life and power, which is the new wine." Bottom line, we need to let go of all those ego thoughts and limitations in all its forms. We need to know that we can and are meant to manifest a beautiful garden, a beautiful life. It is only our thinking that impedes us doing this. I highly suggest here, if you're having trouble with it, that you use the unity tool of golden keying your negative thoughts, which create a negative life. This means that you simply turn them over to God. You golden key them. I love that idea. It is just your ego that's in the driver's seat again. It's not you. It's your ego. When you golden key your negativity, you let your ego move over and put God in the driver's seat. You start seeing the world completely differently with Christ's vision. Then you see all the possibilities and all the abundance that is everywhere. They are always there. They've always been there, but you'll be able to see them. Your new wineskins will hold the new wine then, the tools that you need for your new life, your new garden. The fourth law of success involves starting to be one with your new consciousness. The fourth unity principle is about the importance of prayer. And that is the best way I know of to realize your oneness with God and your full potential. God is omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. Prayer helps you experience your oneness with this omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. We just need to remove the blocks to these powers. They're there. They're ready to be used to succeed in your endeavors to create your garden at all times. Just move the blocks. Jesus did exactly that. He prayed before he embarked on any important endeavor. For example, remember he went up to the mountain for 40 days before starting to teach for the first time. Jesus prayed until he realized his absolute oneness with God. The Bible tells us to pray ceaselessly. Pray ceaselessly. Charles and Mary Fillmore went into the silence an hour every single night. And don't forget that they both healed themselves of incurable diseases. Prayer, the fourth unity principle, is a valuable tool to our regeneration into who we really are. It helps us tap into those innate abilities, those innate powers, those 12 powers Charles Fillmore talked about. Prayer helps us realize our total oneness with the omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence of this whole universe. When we start tapping into all our natural powers, innate powers, we quit living in the basement of the mansion that we all own. Remember that story about the man who lived his whole life in the basement in squalor in his mansion? And his servants were up there waiting for him. All this beauty and wealth was waiting for him in this mansion that he owned. But he just couldn't imagine getting out of the basement. Then there is the fifth law of success, which corresponds to the fifth unity principle, which tells us that it's not enough to just know these truths. We must put them to use, like that mansion owner who finally left his basement and went up to live in that beautiful palace with servants ready to serve him. We too need to live in the upper rooms of our consciousness. Jesus said, "These things I do, ye shall do also." The main word here is do. The Bible says Jesus healed the sick and raised the dead. These stories may or may not be literally true. I don't know. But metaphysically, they are absolutely, positively true. People were healed of their belief and limitation of all kinds through their faith in higher order laws symbolized by Jesus the Christ. And the same is true for us in overcoming our obstacles to success. We are sick, even dead sometimes in terms of our potential, and we must heal ourselves by creating whole new wineskins and then filling them with our new consciousness and then using that higher consciousness in our daily lives. And I think a big part of this last success law is often having patience. Like after we plant those seeds in our garden, we must give them time to grow. We must give ourselves a little time. We may leave here today and really want to do all this, but we'll maybe not be able to in every situation. Have patience with yourself. Don't condemn yourself if it takes you a little time to fully realize this. Many people pray and expect immediate results. Petunia seeds just don't sprout in a minute. It takes time to change our consciousness and let go of negative thinking in different situations and become one with success consciousness. So have patience with yourself. Abraham Lincoln once said, "A man watches his pear tree day after day and patient for the ripening of the fruit. Let him attempt to force the process, and he may spoil both fruit and tree. But let him patiently wait, and the ripe pear falls in his lap." In closing, I'd just like to remind you that you are a totally capable, competent, and successful person. An abundant, fulfilling life absolutely can be yours. It is yours if you open your mind to the universe's infinite possibilities. Pray so that you can stay aware of your oneness with God, and then practice living on that level by planting your garden, your life, and then cultivating it every day. You'll see that your life will start morphing into a success magnet. Bottom line, let go and let God, and then enjoy the fruits of abundance and success in ways you've never imagined, which is everything that all of you deserve. Thank you. Will you bless our offering? Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name flowers here are in memory of Glenn Smith's son, Derek, who took his life to another place last week. And I want you to be sure to remember to take him home with you, Glenn.
I will.
Okay, thank you. Will you please stand for our closing? The light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and you are safe and secure. The Lord watches between me and thee, while we are absent one from the other, and helps us to know that we are all one in spirit, through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. And will you form a circle so we can see our